Thank you very much. I have the great privilege and honour of being the CEO at the Shire of Coolgardie. So sort of feel a bit nervous speaking to an audience like this, which is quite unusual. I'm used to speaking at local government conferences or other conferences, certainly not something like this, to a lot of people in the room who are extremely experienced in the sectors and the industries you have. But I was really proud and privileged that PayDirt had let me have the opportunity to talk about what we've done in the Shire of Coolgardie, and I'm very proud. I've got a great council that shows great leadership and what can actually be done simply by talking and collaborating. It's pretty simple, and I'm talking to the converted here. Normally when I'm talking to local governments and other things, they all sort of scratch their heads and it's too hard and we can't talk and do that sort of stuff, but it's not. It's really easy. We went on a journey about 2.5 years ago, and I distinctly remember sitting in St George's Terrace in BHP, and Chris Cottier said to me, I was talking away, he said, "Tell me what you think," and I was going on, he said, "Stop," which is quite hard for me. And he said, you just got to remember, he said, "Find out what our value proposition is." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Just talk to us, ask us what we might need, and you let us know what you need." And then he said, "It's really simple, go on the journey together." And he was 100% right. So up until that stage, conversations and local government has a interesting approach at times. We certainly impact significantly on a lot of what you all do in different places, because ultimately things can come back to us as the regulatory bodies. We can facilitate things at a state and federal level. As an example, I've got the great privilege next month to be going to meet with the Honourable Madeleine King, Resources Minister, to talk about all the great things that are happening in our Shire and promoting the industry and promoting what we're doing. And so that's what we should be doing. It's what my job is, to advocate for what's going on in the community so that we make sure that we future-proof things and leave things a better place. So just complete change as I always do. I'm going to run through half a dozen slides is all, and then I'm going to play you a video at the end that hopefully shows how significant, how proud we are at the moment. And I've just written some things down here, 2 things: critical minerals and collaboration. So we're pretty lucky that from a critical minerals perspective, the Shire of Coolgardie, from memory last year, I think, which a lot of people wouldn't know, $4.2 billion came out of our Shire towards state GDP. So we're the 3rd biggest in WA outside of the Pilbara. So a lot of people don't understand and appreciate the significance of it. A lot of you do in terms of the company. So it's pretty interesting. I've just written down some companies here in terms of critical minerals, nickel and things. I've got Mincor, who are a classic example of the journey that we've gone on. I've had the great privilege of being right at the start. They've taken us on the journey. We've worked together, shared everything together, been through the ups and downs, and it was a great privilege to go on that journey with David Southam and Dean Will, who's still there. And it shows what can be done when you all work together and have a conversation, because the place is buzzing, the place is alive because of what's going on. BHP, Widgie Nickel, London Metals, Karora Resources, who have been mentioned as well in terms of their nickel. Pure Batteries Technology and Poseidon Nickel, the partnership that they have in terms of what's looking about downstream processing. Lanfranchi Mineral Resources with Mount Mary and Lithium, and Lithco Proprietary Limited. Pretty excited that very, very few, if any, CEOs can stand up in WA or even Australia and talk about the ilk of that sort of group of people working in your community. And so really proud that we're on a journey, and it's pretty exciting. So what the Shire's done is it's reshaped the way we do business. So what we've done is we've looked at ESG, and we've looked at how we can make a significant impact on working together and aligning the vision and the council, the direction, our budgets, our revenue, and how we can align things to align with our major stakeholder. Our major stakeholder in the community is the mining sector and contractors. So we've realigned our community strategic plan. It's a statutory document for local government, and we're the first one in Western Australia, and I believe the first in Australia to actually align our community strategic plan with the ESG framework. And if you think about it, local government is all about ESG because all the services we provide are linked to environmental, social or governance. So that's pretty exciting that our council has taken the view and seen the leadership. The other thing we've done is we've taken a project, and you'll see some of the key stakeholders there. We've done a socio-economic assessment. We've taken all the data. We've spent probably the Shire and the local government spent $250,000, $200,000 or $300,000 of ratepayers' money to show what the significant contribution of the mining sector is. Because once you show it and you show them the numbers and you show the community, they take you on the journey with you. So we're very excited that all the companies we have working with us, if you look at some of the key insights, you'll see once these sort of numbers start coming out, the community make some significant, it makes a significant difference to them, makes a significant difference when the council are making their decisions as well, because we have numbers and data and facts to back up what's going on, and it makes it a lot easier for them. And what I can say to you all is, coming back to the conversation, the comment I made about Chris Cottier, so in terms of following that journey, this was a value proposition we found, and what he talked about, which is the conversation we'd had, is we've completely switched. Don't go to the sectors, don't go to contractors, don't go to people asking for $50,000 for this program or $20,000 for this, because all the GMs at the end of the day, once they're operating, have their operating budgets, they have accommodation, waste and transport in their budgets, and they can sign off on things. So find a way of delivering services in the community. So one of the big things we've done, you'll see some of the figures here. According to the mining company, the sector is expected to spend $10.8 billion of procurement up until 2026, just in the Shire of Coolgardie. That's really powerful when you show the community what that means. One of the interesting things is accommodation. I need to touch on this slide. As a result of the partnership and the collaboration, we've gone through, and these sort of numbers aren't big numbers compared to a lot of what you're all talking about, but we've taken our revenue base from 13.8 million to 27 million in 1 year. Now that's massive for a local government, and really, really proud of it. It's probably, other than the collaboration stuff, one of the significant things that have happened, and that's going to grow to $36 million. Why? Because we're getting revenue from workers' accommodation, villages, expansion of our Kambalda airstrip, and waste and things, working with the mining sector. How can we work together? They contribute, revenue comes in, money comes back into our coffers, continue running medical services. We're going to have 2 doctors now in Kambalda. That's really, really amazing from a community perspective. We started 2 years ago with none. We're going to have 2 doctors. People are coming from Kalgoorlie to come to the doctor's surgery in Kambalda, a community of 2,500. So because of the collaboration we have with the mining sector, that's a really good example of something that's future-proofing and will continue in our community for a long time to come. So very proud of what's happened. We've basically turned things around, and the highlight would be on a rate base of $9 million, we're going to have net cash at the end of the year of 7.3. Pretty impressive from what we're doing in a partnership with the sector. So just interestingly, just briefly on the accommodation space, that's a pretty powerful slide. This is what's going on. I'll just go back a slide. That's already what exists, 1,713 beds. The demand is for another 2,500 beds. That's just in the Shire of Coolgardie. So we're ahead of the game, facilitating, working together. Yes, we want residential development. Everybody wants residential development. But at the end of the day, when I speak to the mining sector and talk about it, and people say, look, James, in the market that we're working in, it's potentially 50-50 roughly in terms of what's going on. So our job is to make sure we're better off having those companies working in our local government than, pardon my French, pissing them off. So at the end of the day, how can we work together to do that, and to keep the revenue and keep people in our community? And a good example of that was, I distinctly remember having a fairly robust conversation with David Southam when he rang up and said, we want to build a village in the on our own tenement, and I was stupid enough to tell him that wouldn't be a good idea, and we politely had a robust conversation, but after 20 minutes we landed on it. He explained why, spoke to the Shire president, and we've got on stronger than ever because he explained why they needed to do it from a business perspective, and it's been successful. So really exciting. We should have a bigger piece of the green mineral pie. You've talked about that. Shire of Coolgardie's significantly well positioned to do that. And if I look at the Mingari Industrial Estate, that's going to be, we've got an opportunity for pure batteries technology, downstream nickel processing and downstream lithium processing with Lithgow Proprietary Limited. So I'd just like to play this video, and hopefully this is the real message of what's going on to add to what I've talked about. Thank you.
Coolgardie Regional Transformation Alliance, CRTA, an alliance for growing, sustaining and future-proofing Coolgardie. Facing the global climate crisis as the world commits itself to net zero transition, one small region in Western Australia, Shire of Coolgardie, known as the mother of the Western Australian goldfields, is fast positioning itself as the epicentre of the world's green energy transition. Coolgardie, known for its gold reserves, is also blessed with an abundance of green minerals, lithium and nickel.
Last year, the figures to the end of 2021 was something like $4.1 billion that was coming out of the Shire of Coolgardie.
With this phenomenal growth comes responsibility. Responsibility to ensure long-term sustainability, responsibility to deliver ESG goals, and responsibility to future-proof the community from boom and bust situations.
One of the things I've certainly seen in my conversations with the mining sector is their focus on ESG and actually wanting to work within communities to really leave a legacy. Not just, yes, building a tennis court or contributing to a swimming pool, but actually contributing to the economic and social fabric of the community.
The Shire of Coolgardie and Circular Economy Alliance Australia, CEAA, have partnered to establish Coolgardie Regional Transformation Alliance that aims to position Coolgardie on the global map as a green mining region, powering world's transition to clean energy. This alliance will forge strong partnerships between all tiers of government, mining, industry, community and academia.
The Shire of Coolgardie is really proud to be partners as well, and I think the idea of creating a circular economy green hub and a centre of green energy is really exciting for the Shire of Coolgardie. There's very few local governments that have nickel, iron ore, lithium and gold all running at the same time.
The International Energy Agency estimates that the annual demand for critical minerals for clean energy will surpass US $400 billion by 2050, which is equivalent to the annual revenues of the current coal market. For Australia alone, the clean energy sector could generate as much as 395,000 new jobs and $89 billion in new export trade by 2040.
The fact that this regional transformation is about leveraging the intellectual and financial capital for the simple reason that you need a leader to actually make it happen. And I think the leadership provided by the Shire of Coolgardie is phenomenal.
The Coolgardie Regional Transformation Alliance is world's first, a pioneering example of regional authority driving multi-sectoral collaboration to deliver ESG goals, climate change response, UN Sustainable Development Goals, and the circular economy.
I always look at the potential of Coolgardie, and I think Coolgardie is fast becoming the world's epicenter for green energy. And we are just so delighted to be part of that journey.
As we are, we look forward to that journey and seeing where it takes us to.
The Coolgardie Regional Transformation Alliance will 1. Deliver Coolgardie ESG goals. 2. Create employment for Indigenous community. 3. Coordinate climate change response. 4. Social license to operate. 5. Deliver on UN Sustainable Development Goals. 6. Leverage financial and intellectual capital. 7. Promote regional achievements. 8. Become a focal point for engaging nationally and internationally. 9. Put Coolgardie on the world map, creating greater opportunities.
It'll be exciting, it'll be fun, but it'll actually be something that'll make a true difference in the communities that we work in, but also sell and globalise and let people around the world, around Australia, wherever it is, know what we're doing.
Welcome to Coolgardie Regional Transformation Alliance. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to partnering with you.
Thank you very much for listening, and hopefully that gives an insight into what we're doing. Thank you.